We are down to the final 4 matches in the AFC World Cup Qualifiers third round, and a lot has happened since November. 4 new managers will be taking over in this window. Japan can qualify to the World Cup, Iran can qualify to the World Cup, South Korea can take control of Group B. So we're going to preview and predict the matches in this window. So 2 new managers will be taking over in Group A. Uzbekistan, of course, Katanic had to resign due to medical reasons, and it's kind of sad because it would have been such a rewarding achievement for him and this national team to qualify to the World Cup with his hard work. And yes, we've been critical of the way Uzbekistan have played, but their new manager is Timur Kabatse, who of course was the manager for the Olympic team when they qualified to the Olympics last year. Will he improve the team? Maybe we'll see some slight tactical switches, being a bit more attacking, because we've seen Uzbekistan throughout this qualifiers in the third round. It's been a bit safe, right? I think it's just so much of the pressure to qualify to the World Cup that they've been playing safe. Maybe with the games against Kyrgyzstan and Iran, we're going to see a different Uzbekistan, especially at home against Kyrgyzstan. I think they will win that matchup. And the other manager is Qatar. So Qatar sacked Titi Marquez because, yeah, that was going awful, and they have a -7 goal difference. They have conceded 17 goals in this third round in 6 games. For the Asian Cup winners, who were, I thought, very good defensively at the Asian Cup, to concede 17 goals in 6 games, yeah, Marquez had to go. And the new manager will be Luis Garcia. Will he improve this team? I mean, they're going to need a drastic switch. Drastic switch, if you ask me. So if we look at the games here, I think Uzbekistan will beat Kyrgyzstan. They will then get to 16 points. The Iran-UAE game. If we looked at the UAE, the last 2 games, obviously their November window was fantastic. 8 goals scored. The destruction of Qatar, 5-0. The 3-0 win over Kyrgyzstan. I thought they played some fantastic football, UAE. Now, I don't think they're going to go so attacking and play. They're going to play more of the counterattack away to Iran. The game against North Korea, that could be sort of a slip-up game for the UAE. Because North Korea, they don't care. They'll just play their football and go with it. And for Iran, I think there's so much questions about this national team, because we've always known that Iran are a very good defensive team, but they've conceded 5 goals already in 6 games, but they've scored 12 goals because Azmoun has been actually red hot form in these qualifiers, and club-wise he's doing well in the UAE league, but let's see how that translates now to the national team. Taremi, on the other hand, his club career is going terribly, and I know Iranians want to complain, oh, it's Inter and they're not giving him chances. I've watched a lot of Taremi this season, people. He has not been playing well. It's simply, you have to just face the facts and say the truth and just say Taremi is not playing well at Inter, but maybe with the national team, because they've just been scoring for fun with the likes of Mohebi and Gayedi. So I like this Iran team going forward, but that defense needs to fix up, and especially going up against UAE, who have some good attackers in their team. I feel like that's going to be not really a high-scoring game, but it could be like a 2-1 for Iran. Iran will then get closer to qualifying to the World Cup. They'll only need 1 more win or a point against Uzbekistan, and they will qualify to the World Cup. And Qatar, yeah, they have to beat North Korea. They now need to step up. And if Qatar lose to North Korea, yeah, they got no chance of getting to the top 2 spots. 0 chance. Right now, it's looking very dire, but if they lose to North Korea, it's toast. Then Qatar go away to Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan have actually been a good home team, but they get annihilated all the time away from home. I feel like Qatar could lose that game or drop points. I don't know. There's something about it, because Kojo, we know he's scoring for fun with the national team, but maybe Akram Afif and Almoez Ali will just drag their team to victory in Kyrgyzstan. So yeah, I feel like Qatar are going to win like a high-scoring game. It's going to be like a 3-2. And then the big one, Iran versus Uzbekistan. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game. We're going to see Iran dominate the game a little bit more with possession, and Uzbekistan are just going to try and defend more. But Shmurdov, if you've seen his form with AS Roma recently, the guy is in form. Faisalayev playing well with CSKA Moscow, and obviously Husanov. The dude has had such a great start, I think, in Manchester City. Other than the first couple minutes against Chelsea, I think Husanov has been fantastic for Manchester City. So let's see if he can translate that. And he's always been so good for Uzbekistan during these qualifiers. And this game, though, will be at the Asadi Stadium in Tehran. So what is going to be like 100,000 people there, 90,000 people there? There will be an atmosphere. I'm excited to see how this game will be played out. Uzbekistan playing a bit more on the counterattack. They're not going to try and control the ball. Iran will be maybe frustrated. I feel like it's going to be like a 1-1 or a 1-0 victory for Iran. We're probably going to see like an old school Iranian performance here, where they're not going to create a lot of chances. Defensively, they'll look kind of solid and they'll get the victory. Whereas I think Uzbekistan are like, okay, we don't need to win this game. All we need to do is just beat Kyrgyzstan and we should be fine for the final 2 matches in June. And then North Korea, UAE, well then that's going to have to be a must-win game for the UAE. Obviously, it will be played on neutral ground. And yeah, I would probably go with the UAE win here. So after this window, Iran will qualify to the World Cup, and there's going to be a lot of question marks. Even though they haven't lost a game in these qualifiers, it just hasn't been like the Iran national team that we know. So Galanoy, he's got to fix up that defense. I think the attack is fire. Uzbekistan, I think they will get closer to qualifying to the World Cup. And the UAE, I think they will secure one of the 3rd or 4th positions. Can Kyrgyzstan get back into the battle for that 4th position to qualify to the next round against Qatar? That we will find out. That's a must-win game then for Kyrgyzstan against Qatar. But that's Group A. There's only one managerial change in this group, as Abu Jazar will be taking the reins of the Palestinian national team. I think he was like the Olympic coach for them in the past. Palestine have been a competitive team, but they just haven't been good defensively. They can definitely go toe-to-toe with South Korea. They've got a point against them. They did well against Iraq. The Jordan game, I thought Jordan were just so fantastic on the counterattack. So Palestine, though, they got Jordan away. I mean, Jordan have to win that game. The slip-ups that Jordan had against Kuwait, look at that, 3 draws, people. If they convert 2 wins, they would be on 12 points right now, or 13 points. Jordan then would be in a good position heading into the June matches, and obviously we know how big those June matches will be. Al-Tamari, he's in better form club-wise. Al-Naimat, I see his club form isn't the greatest. He doesn't play a lot of games, but it doesn't matter to me. I think Al-Naimat is just the Hummus of Jordanian football. Club-wise, not going great. The national team, Ballon d'Or contender. That's how clutch he has been for this national team. The defense, though, I would say has to be a little bit better compared to what we saw at the Asian Cup. Yeah, obviously 5 goals conceded in 6 games. A couple goals conceded against South Korea. I would expect better from the likes of Al Arab and all these sort of defenders that Jordan have. But they have to beat Palestine. There is no doubt about it. If they drop points against Palestine, then Iraq, they're looking good to qualify. But you got to look at Oday Dabbak. The guy now finally sorted out his club career, and he's been playing well with Aberdeen. So that's a thing to watch out for in that game. Iraq, they take on Kuwait. You know how that game's going to finish, people. 1-0. What do you want me to say? It's going to finish 1-0. The fact that Iraq have only conceded 3 goals in 6 games, and all of those 3 goals were against South Korea in 1 match. Iraq got one of the best defenses in Asia, but they just offer nothing going forward. And Jesus Casas, I saw that the Gulf Cup didn't go so well for Iraq. They went out in the group stage. How those results will affect the performances in this window, but Iraq still are in a good position here. They're not going to play sexy football, people. They're going to get the 1 goal from Ayman Hussein. So Iraq are going to keep possession against Kuwait. Obviously, Yusuf Amin got the goal last time for Iraq, and I thought he's a very good player in the midfield. Ali Jazim, I think he's got to step up more. I've kind of been disappointed in his performances. Ayman Hussein is always going to be that guy. Iraq will win that game 1-0. South Korea, they will beat Oman, even though Oman, good home team, away from home, these guys are a disaster. Oman have lost all of their away games so far in these qualifiers. 4-0 to Jordan, 1-0 to Iraq. I don't think it's going to be a very good trip to South Korea for Oman, so I think South Korea will take more control. But the game then is South Korea versus Jordan. I think South Korea have improved and improved. Yeah, the Palestine game wasn't the best. This issue for South Korea is they just got to fix up defensively. But going forward, I mean, this team can score against most teams in this world. And up against Jordan, you know Jordan are just going to sit back and counterattack. So then they just got to deal with Al-Tamari, Al-Naimat. And if you look at Jordan recently with the defense, it's not looking as good as it was in the Asian Cup. So I think this is going to be a very tough game for Jordan. And I could see South Korea actually winning that game, collecting the 3 points and getting closer to the World Cup. And then Jordan are in a tricky position heading into the final 2 match days. Palestine versus Iraq, neutral ground. I could see Iraq, again, just getting a 1-0 victory, or it could be a 1-1 with maybe Oday Dabbak getting a goal there. Again, it's just not going to be pretty from Iraq, but I don't think any Iraqi will complain about the style of play. Yes, it can be frustrating when you're playing that way against a Kuwait, a Palestine, an Oman, but as long as you qualify to the World Cup, nothing will matter. Yes, the attacking wise and possession play can be a little bit better from Iraq, but defensively, this team is so good. And then Oman and Kuwait. Well, if Kuwait want to have a chance, and I've actually been very surprised at how well Kuwait have played during these qualifiers, and they need to get revenge on Oman, because Oman destroyed them 4-0. Because I've been impressed by players like Nasir, Hani, can get a good result against Oman at home, because like I said, Oman away from home are just not the same team as they are at home. I feel like Kuwait can win that game. If Kuwait win that game, then they get into the 4th spot. which for me, I would be shocked by. I thought this team were going to be dead last, maybe collect 2 points during this entire qualifiers, but they have actually been very competitive in 5 out of the 6 games, other than that one game against Oman. So after this window, I think it's just so critical for Jordan to get that win over Palestine. If you lose to South Korea, it is what it is. You're away from home, tough ground to go to. And if Iraq can get 2 wins here, then Iraq are in prime position heading into the June game. So it's a critical window for Iraq, Jordan, and I think Kuwait. And then the final group. And there's only one managerial change here, as well as Patrick Kluivert, and I made a video about it, is the Indonesia manager. Now this group is wild. Of course, Japan, yeah, they're going to qualify. Well, what do you want me to say, people? Obviously, Hiroki Ito will return to the national team, which is very good, obviously recovering from his injury. Actually been playing quite well for Bayern Munich. Hiroki Ito, Mashida, and Itakura, I think those should be the 3 center backs for Japan. Even though Itakura, you could say sometimes a liability, because Tomiyasu, I don't think he's ever going to be the same guy anymore. So those 3 have to be starting every single game for Japan to combine with this 3 in the back formation that Moriyasu is going with. And yeah, look, Japan are going to qualify to the World Cup. They will beat Bahrain. The game against Saudi Arabia, we'll talk about that very soon. You look at Australia against Indonesia. Patrick Kluivert's first game in charge. You're going away to Australia. But let's be honest here. Does Australia give you any confidence right now that they're going to score more than 1 goal? Because there's no Harry Suter. Harry Suter is injured, who is a very key piece in that defense. No Riley McGree either. So Australia are down to the bare bones when it comes to quality. And I've been talking about this so many times during these qualifiers. This national team just doesn't have the same quality as it did in the past. So you're going to have to look at the guys like Jackson Irvine, Greg Goodwin to really just drag them through the mud. And Popovich, I think he is a good hiring, and he has shown so far that he's been doing quite decently, getting the results. The performances have to improve though. I mean, what players can you call up? Yeah, maybe you could call up like an Irakunda, but Irakunda hasn't been the same guy. I think he's been playing better in Switzerland. Can he translate those performances if he does get called up, of course? I was very impressed by Toure in the U20 Asian Cup. He could be maybe an option, but you say that, but something has to change with this national team. However, they're going up against Indonesia at home. You expect Australia. They've only lost 1 game, which was the crazy game against Bahrain there. That game is so crucial, because if Australia lose that game or drop points, heading into the final 3 games, they obviously still got Saudi Arabia away and Japan at home for Australia. They have to beat Indonesia. There is no excuses from Popovich and the players. And if you're Indonesia, just get a point here. Patrick Kluivert, and we don't know how he's going to set up his team. Is it going to be defensive? He's really got to look at the experience of a Hay. Marcelino Ferdinand, he's got to step up one more time as he did against Saudi Arabia. I think that game is massive pressure on the Socceroos to just get something. If it's a 1-0 corner, goal off your ass, fair enough. Just get the victory, Australia. That's all you have to do. Japan, yeah, they will destroy Bahrain. Bahrain, good home team. Bahrain, I just don't think they're a good team away from home. I mean, Maroon, Ali Madin, and these sort of guys, could they trouble Japan? But Japan are on a roll here, and they will score maybe 3 to 4 goals. It could be 3-4-0 in that matchup. And then the last game on match day 7, it is Saudi Arabia against China. Oh my God, it is so crucial, that game for both teams. If you're Ivan Kovic, just get a point there. Let's see. I've been so impressed by China. China just got to approach this game like they did against Bahrain. Defensively, be solid, get that 1 chance or 2 chances and convert it. That's the thing for China. Ever since they got demolished by Japan 7-0 on the first match day, they've been a competitive team in every single game. So then you're going to have to look at guys like Abdulwale, Zhang Yuning, if they can really step up for this national team. For Saudi Arabia, that's a must win. I mean, there is no other options here for Hervé Renard. You have to win that game. Because we saw the last window, it's still, the performances have not improved. Especially that game against Indonesia away was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from Saudi Arabia. Nothing going forward. Calamity defensively. The defense had no control of what they were doing. So how will Hervé Renard approach it? Obviously, Saudi Arabia might just dominate the ball, and let's see if the likes of Salim Al-Dasari can break them down. What do you do if you're Hervé Renard? Who do you play as striker? How do you fix the defense? There's just so many question marks, I think, for Saudi Arabia, more than China. China, I think, are like, yeah, we'll just set up here. We'll be solid defensively. I think there's massive pressure here on Saudi Arabia to get a win. Because if they don't get a win, and they still got Australia and Japan the next match day, oh boy, Saudi Arabia, I think, are in massive trouble here. I could actually see this game being a 1-1 or a 2-1 win for Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia going away to Japan. Yeah, I don't think Japan are going to annihilate them 4-0, 5-0. I think it's going to be a 2-0 comfortable victory there for Japan. We could see Minamino getting a couple goals, Mitoma or Ritsudoya. Those guys will get the goals there. China, Australia. Now, this could be a little bit more interesting for China. Why am I thinking this could be a draw here? I would need to see the performances of Australia against Indonesia to give me better judgment of how Australia are going to approach that China game. Because China, again, they will just sit back, counterattacks, but the counterattacks are so much better compared to what we saw in the Asian Cup, where I don't think China had an idea how to counter. They just hoofed the ball up and said, let's hope for a prayer here. But now there's a bit more patterns of play, breaking down teams. So how can China then actually frustrate Australia? That's by just sitting in a low block, because Australia just don't have the individual quality. I think it has 0-0 written all over it. And the last game then is Indonesia, Bahrain. And we obviously know what happened last time around between these two teams as Bahrain got that late equalizer. I think now if you're Patrick Kluivert, you got to win this game. This is the must-win game for Indonesia. Beat China at home in the June matches, beat Bahrain here, and you will qualify to at least the next round. So both teams, I think they should go for it. I think if you're Bahrain, you have nothing to lose. You gotta look at the Indonesia team and say to yourself, this is a game where we can get a point. And if you're Indonesia and Patrick Kluivert, this is 3 points. Even if you drop points, I think it's a massive disappointment. Yes, Indonesia have done very well so far in these qualifiers, but this is the games you have to win. The China performance away wasn't good enough, and you still got China and Bahrain left in these last 4 games. If Indonesia can just win those home games, they will make it to the next round. That, I think, will be actually a very exciting matchup. 2-2 or 2-1 Indonesia. That is my prediction there. So after this window, Japan will be obviously qualified to the World Cup. Who knows who's going to be second in this group? Will there still be a very close battle for that second spot? I think some teams may fade away. Maybe Bahrain will fade away. This is such a critical window for Australia and Saudi Arabia. Those teams must perform. Otherwise, the June matches, yeah, they could be screwed. But there we have it, people. The March preview and predictions for the AFC World Cup Qualifiers. I think we're going to get some more chaoticness in this region, in these matches. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which team desperately needs a victory? Obviously, we will be doing a review after match day 7 and match day 8. So stay tuned for that on the channel. Remember to follow me on all the socials. Links to those will be in the description down below. I'll be covering the AFC World Cup Qualifiers, the CAF World Cup Qualifiers, the CONMEBOL World Cup Qualifiers, everything on my Twitter. And obviously follow me on Instagram. Join the Discord, because the Discord will be red hot during the international break. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.